Firstly, I'd like to say thank you to Barry and Hastings for the kind words. I think Hastings and I must have been cribbing from the same internet website. I think because cooking, I've got the same cooking gags. They're slightly different worded. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ian Young, and I have the honour of being Hastings' best man today. A great day like this always takes many months of hard work by many people, and therefore with contributions from many people, and therefore I'd like to thank Kathy and Kathy's parents for all their hard work, because I understand they've done quite a great deal of it. So on behalf of everyone here, I must confess I'm very happy to be finally seeing my friends Hastings and Kathy finally get married. But I must say I do think that Hastings may have taken perhaps a little bit longer than he should have in getting round to proposing. But in many ways this is to be expected. I mean, as a top-notch lawyer, I understand delays are like me, I'm sure everyone here has noticed how stunning Kathy and her bridesmaids, Katie and Penny, look here today. And although this is the second time, ladies and gentlemen, I propose a toast to the bridesmaids.
Yay.
The bridesmaids.
Now it's time to tell you about my friend, Mr. John Hastings, Newdigate Guys. Hastings was one of the first people I met when we both started at Trinity College in 1996, and we quickly became good friends. Of course, in those days, we were both younger, thinner, and much better looking. Or at least one of us was. Back then, one of the first things that struck me about Hastings was what a wonderful, friendly, and down-to-earth chap he is. However, I would expect nothing less coming from an Aldertonian. So after all these years, has Hastings changed? Well, not that much. I mean, perhaps Hastings is a slightly more well-rounded individual than when I first met him. But back then, this was due to Mr. Kipling's exceedingly good cakes. Nowadays, I understand this has been overtaken by Kathy's amazing baking talent. And I hear she makes exceedingly good cupcakes, amusingly decorated. It's a good job that Hastings has found a partner who cooks so well, because Hastings himself has always been a bit sort of hit and miss in the kitchen. Well, less hit and more miss. Our university's cooking mantra was always based on the adage that don't cook anything that can't be cooked in one pot. It doesn't begin with chopped onion. The one time we tried to use the grill, we ended up setting our fire blanket on fire. And this led to us redecorating our kitchen in a mixture of smoke, ash and grease. And we ended up having to use the fire extinguisher to save ourselves and the building. So, Kathy, and the burning fire blanket. So, Kathy, I do hope that you've got adequate household insurance to hopefully cover these future, hopefully isolated occasions. Apart from his waistline, how else has Hastings changed? Well, if I had to describe the Hastings I first met many moons ago, he had floppy hair, he sat near a fireplace with a woolly jumper and strumming on his guitar. Nowadays, the jumper is gone, replaced by a smart city suit. The hair less floppy, and he's upgraded to strumming on an iPhone. It was at university that Hastings developed a fondness for the great outdoors and all things aquatic. For example, Hastings used to help out with the Oxford Adaptive Rowing Club, which used to teach young people with disabilities how to row. Well, whilst Hastings was a very good mentor to many of these young people, he wasn't a very good rower. On one occasion, he was crowing a boat down the river when suddenly a coxless pair started coming up the other side, quite swiftly, and therefore Hastings' cox didn't have time to turn the boat away. So a friend of ours shouted at Hastings, "Quick, pull your blade in!" At this point, Hastings got very confused and went, "What?" and sort of lifted his oar up in the air. He then promptly smacked the first rower in the head. At this point, Hastings looked very confused and kept his oar up, resulting in him smacking the second rower. I'm not sure how much rowing Hastings did after that, but having failed.
The other two.
I'm sure they're out of hospital now. It has been many years. But my point is that having failed to cover himself in glory on the ices, I understand he then moved on to Norfolk Broads. I remember the time that Sahib Hastings and I shared a yacht in Norfolk for a week. Hastings concerned himself with the careful decisions of skippering a yacht, whilst I was referred to as Crewman Young, and was made to be his cabin boy. I forced all the manual labour. In fact, Hastings was such an excellent skipper in skippering our yacht, looking after it, that he managed to change our boat's name from the Wood Sorrel to the Wood Sore. Which is how I felt after I fell in the river whilst tidying the ropes. Why is it that whenever Hastings loses control, I end up getting wet? With this in mind, I've got a small present for Kathy, which I'm sure will come in useful in the future. It's an umbrella. It's an umbrella. There you go. I'm forbidden from opening it. Here's a volley
from himself.
Back to academia. Back to academia. During his classics finals, Hastings, during a Latin translation, wrongly translated the word life into vineyards. So, Kathy, it is possible that when he asked you to spend the rest of your life with him, it's possible he may have been asking for another drink. However, I'm sure this is not the case. On the subject of things that most people don't know about Hastings, very few people know that he really, really, really enjoys ironing. So much so that he used to spend unusual amounts of time in the college laundry room having fun. So, and this morning. So if you ever have a large pile of laundry and no one else can help you, maybe you should call the A-team. Actually, no, sorry, I meant Hastings. On the subject of drinks, on his 22nd birthday, Hastings taught me how you can make a bone-dry martini. Apparently, you take your vermouth bottle, you wave it vaguely near your glass, you then pour yourself a large vodka, and you pop in an olive if you're feeling sophisticated, and then beyond that, I can't actually remember what happened after then. But you should see his Tinky Winky impersonation. Tinky Winky. Your son does an amazing Tinky Winky. That's seen to be believed. After university, Hastings sought adventure and embarked on his grand tour, as all cultured gentlemen should do. When he returned, he'd lost a great deal of weight, but developed some horrendous dance moves. And an unfortunate fondness for pastel-coloured trousers. Which I'm very pleased to see he's outgrown. Once back in Blighty, Hastings then went to law school, but for legal reasons, unfortunately, I'm unable to comment. So, how did the happy couple meet? Well, they met on the dance floor at a mutual friend's wedding.
Where are they?
Hey. Hastings then impressed Kathy with his gay Gordons. A few romantic weekends in Suffolk ensued, and here we are today. So, to summarise, Hastings' most important qualities have not changed. He's still a solid, decent and honourable man, and if anything over the years, has matured into a better man still, who I no doubt will make a devoted husband and a wonderful father. So, Mr. and Mrs. Gately, please relax. You haven't lost a daughter. You've gained a lawyer.
That's a good deal, that.
Now, according to the internet, the last thing I'm supposed to do in a best man speech is to offer some sage marriage advice. Now, unfortunately, I have none. However, working from the principle that the customer is always right, I imagine if Hastings stuck to a similar principle of Kathy is always right, then I'm sure he'll do just fine. So all that remains is for me to wish you both a long and happy future together. So ladies and gentlemen, can I ask you all to be upstanding and join me in proposing a toast to the Kathy couple and to wishing them the very best for the future. To Kathy and Hastings.
Kathy and Hastings. Happy marriage.
Now, Kathy's asked me to pop out a message right at the end that apparently the band will be setting up very shortly, so could everyone just help themselves to drinks in the meantime?
No problem.